when I saw them interacting together, and I saw how my dad was impressed that found somebody that he felt like that he could grow old with.
But on June 2nd, 2010, their seemingly blissful relationship proves to be anything but perfect. Neola burst into Shorty's boss's office at the machine shop, claiming that Shorty just left her for another woman.
Said he had come home from work one day, and he had informed her that he was leaving her. He walked out the front door, and she watched him right away in a white pickup truck.
He always said that my dad ran off with a Hispanic lady. They took off in a white Chevy truck, newer model with chrome rims.
Coming up, is Shorty's sudden departure just another case of love-em, or is something more sinister in the works?
You know, Shorty, won't answer his phone. Didn't go to work. Then people started,
That was so far away from his characteristic.
And another man takes Shorty's place, right down to his very boots.
When I saw the guy wearing Shorty's clothes and his hat and his boots, it was in my head. He knows something.
Tanya and I are in Bowling Green, Ohio, to investigate the murder of Roman Glenn.
There's no signs of forced entry. There's no signs of poverty. It looks as though the person that went in there went directly to murder her.
She's over here. Okay. Watson. Wow.
Everything's being done in the do.
Thank you.
Cold Justice. News Saturdays at 6 on Oxygen.
Living healthy is a balancing act. That's why I love Light and Fit Greek non-fat yogurt. Each delicious cup contains 12 grams of protein and 80 calories. It's nutrition that fits my healthy life. Light and Fit. Do what fits you. Okay,
Clear Blue Digital Pregnancy gives unmistakably clear results written words, over 99% accurate, absolute clarity when you
No. I guess that I can try to make what doesn't go in water.
Mommy, your food's boiling.
He's in the head.
I'm gonna do this. Now I don't care if I get sauce on your fucking shit.
Her only comeback is gonna be talking to Dad, okay? It's like poisoning Dad. I don't think food will poison Dad, really. What was that? What was that? Are the Dorito chips gone?
Yes.
ongoing are signs of joint erosion. Humira can help stop the clot. Prescribed for 15 years, Humira targets and blocks the source of infection that contributes to joint.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I can't think straight.
Serious allergic reactions, immune or worse. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you think the areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B.
I call them whatever I call them.
Please talk to your parent if you have an infection. Help stop further irreversible joint damage. Talk to your rheumatologist.
My hair is wavy. I got wavy hair.
Find your inspiration in Sketches to Life.
Hi, Remy. Hi, Bruce. I don't know. I'm like half asleep.
Check out Match right now. It's free.
Grandma's.
Sunday, August 19th at 7.
Oh, I didn't say bite my lip.
After weathering the storm of
Hi.
multiple broken marriages, Neola and Shorty Robinson's newfound romance had all the elements of a
Remy. Hello.
She loved to ride the motorcycle, going out camping, and he never really had anyone that
Hi.
enjoyed doing all this,
Hi.
you know, and I think that's
Hi,
what
handsome.
really draw them together.
Hi.
She really
Oh,
looked
that was my
like
chin
a
bone.
very sweet, nice
That was
person.
my chin.
She was quiet, you know, was very polite. She did seem to make my dad happy.
Are you gonna chew my toes now? Remy. Mama's.
June 2nd, 2010.
Mom, you
their love song
invaded.
hit an unexpected low note. When
Remy,
it
come
came out
here.
of Neola explaining Shorty's
Look at
boss
you.
that he had just left her for another
You look at
woman.
him, he's gonna be like,
She
"Oh
said
no,
that he
it's
was
the
just
demon."
The rudest and cruelest man ever alive. I don't understand why he would just like that.
Though he tries his best to console Neola, Shorty's boss, like everyone in Pelican
Yes.
Bay, figures this is probably just another case of Shorty being Shorty.
My dad, he was a ladies' man.
Given the fact that he had been married 8 times before, it wasn't a story that was completely out of the realm of
Shorty's boss tells Neola he'll get the full story when Shorty shows up for his next shift. But Shorty misses his next shift. And the next. In fact, 2 weeks go by without a single word from Shorty.
His employer came out and talked to me, and we spoke very intimately about Shorty. He knew something was wrong.
Shorty did not show up for work for 2 weeks. His boss obviously was very concerned. His tools were there, he had not picked up his paycheck, and he knew that there was something wrong because that was at least not call and let him know what was.
On June 18th, 2010, Shorty's case is assigned to Detective Anthony Tovar of the Pelican Bay Police Department. Tovar's first move is to question the woman Shorty supposedly left behind, Neola Robinson. From the get-go, it seems Neola has resigned herself to the fact that she's just another in Shorty's long line of women scorned.
And for parting, it's just as a matter of fact, he just left. He was a grown man. He could do whatever he wants.
Neola said that Shorty had run off to Ontario, California, but Neola didn't really seem to care. She didn't seem to mind.
Shorty said, he already had his plans with you. I think on God.
No, I was taking a nap. You just woke me up.
3 weeks, she'd already found herself a new man.
I thought it was pretty weird that Neola started dating pretty close after
me and
Dad's parents, but in my mind, I think that she was just trying to get on with her life.
Detective
Found
Tovar
herself
has his
a new man.
suspicions, but based on Neola's own reputation for quickly moving from one man to the next, there's no evidence to suspect her of foul play related to Shorty's disappearance.
3 days after the initial report to us, it was just a missing adult, maybe, and then actually left.
That's fine.
On the afternoon of June 22nd, Detective Tovar
What?
heads to Shorty's
What?
favorite watering
And
hole,
why?
the Honky Tonk Woman's Saloon, to see if any of Shorty's drinking buddies have heard from her.
You're live.
We were his family. I mean, his friends were his true family. Because
Oh, how'd that
we
work?
talked
Did you
about-
find it?
You know, he went in there, everybody knew.
Are you going over there tonight?
Really never even met a stranger.
It would be
No.
rare for Shorty to walk into the bar and he'd have a new
No.
According to Shorty's friends, that didn't happen this time. And the fact that Shorty split town without much
Needs
goodbye
ideas.
seemed out of character.
He needs
Countless
ideas.
friends that he talked to on a daily basis, if not hourly, all said something's wrong.
I said, roach.
Shorty doesn't walk away from his friends and his family.
I saw Shorty once a week.
No, because when me and Kelly are washing dishes, we throw water at each other
When
and
he
fight.
didn't come into the bar that week, I knew something was wrong.
If I see Tegan, I can probably give him some ideas. But since I've moved here, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any of my cousin's faces.
Relationship had just been so strained. After she had that accident, she didn't have a job. She didn't have unemployment.
Tegan should come
Shorty was
over.
having to pay her car payment, her motorcycle payment. After a while, Shorty started coming in by himself more and more.
Oh, well then.
And when they were together, you could tell there was some tension.
I believe strain on their marriage. That was the beginning of the downfall of the marriage. As the couple's t-shirt business got up and running, Shorty's front really panned out the way Neola had hoped.
At that time, finances were tight. They were living in a small town, and it hurt to make ends meet.
Things were getting worse and just arguing about the money, and he told me that he was going to ask her for a divorce. Shorty's friends tell Detective Tobar that the last time he saw him was over Memorial Day weekend, just hours before he planned to break things off with her. He was going to ask her for a divorce and be gone so that she could have her privacy to get her stuff out of his house. And he just comes up missing with everything left there.
Neola said that he had run off with another woman to Ontario, California.
Shorty doesn't not call. Doesn't walk away from his friends and his family.
Oh, my ear hurts.
With the mystery of Shorty's whereabouts growing deeper by the minute, Detective Tobar phones his counterparts in Ontario, California.
Neola thought he went to California.
Police ran down every lead, but that went nowhere. They couldn't find any evidence. that
No,
Shorty
it's
was
just
in
easier to
California
grab
with another
him.
woman.
After the
Remy,
Ontario,
because
California
Remy has a
Police
harness.
Department says there is no sign of Shorty in California, Detective Tobar issues a subpoena for Shorty's bank and phone records. The
There's
bank
a hole in
records will
my.
take time to process.
I have
but
a
Detective
scab
Tobar receives
right where
Shorty's cell phone
Remy
records
clawed my
within
ear
48
yesterday.
hours. Immediately,
When he jumped on
the
my
red
head.
flags start flying.
His phone
And
numbers
it hurts.
were not logging calls or registering off any cell towers.
Thinking about coming
You
over.
have some sign of him in some other location, whether it be a cell phone located in another state, him
Why?
contacting
What did
his
he do?
family and friends, telling, hey, look, this is where I'm going to go.
As Detective Tobar ponders these possibilities, he receives a phone call from two of Shorty's friends, Lisa Arneson and Denise Dunnigan.
Huh?
The two women say they just left another bar in town called Lynn's Saloon, and they can't believe
I'm
what they
confused
saw.
then.
You don't get sassy.
Right
with
there
Uncle
at the bar.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it
no,
was
don't.
Shorty,
Just me, don't want to.
because he had this shirt that Shorty
I'll
wears,
never
this
get.
black hat.
I gotta keep my
Oh, gosh,
sassiness.
he's back.
I have to
And,
keep from
when
getting
I got
sassy when
my
it comes to
message,
Uncle
I was like,
Alex.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God,
I have to
Shorty.
hold back wanting to
When
be
I saw the
sassy.
guy wearing Shorty's clothes and his hat
And your
and his
grandmother.
boots,
Hi.
it was in my head. He knows. He knows something.
According to Lisa and Denise, the man in Shorty's clothes was a well-known boxer named Ray.
You know that.
When Lisa and Denise asked Ray why he was wearing Shorty's clothes, his response chilled them to the bone. Coming up,
I don't know. They
is
didn't say his
Ray,
response.
and what does he know?
I started to
He's
say,
just concerned about his own well-being.
And there are signs of life in Shorty's bank records.
Police discovered that
Dang
there
it!
was activity on his bank account that his
Go
debit card
down.
was being used.
Unfortunately, until the tail that this box contains and
I don't like holding back my sassiness, though. Mom says I'm the sassy diva child.
there's getting lippy and then there's getting,
All right, have we decided?
you know, not
We actually forgot our waivers.
not being rude lippy.
Here you go.
As your eyes get older, the adjustments you make can be frustrating. Ask your eye doctor about Daly's Total One multifocal contact lenses. They let you see clearly near and far with a contact lens that feels like nothing. Learn more and get a free 5-day trial. nearandfar.com.
The part of this looks like wood.
very serious Ronda Rousey.
Also, looks like there's a smiley face on it.
Can't be serious with Twizzlers.
No, wrong one, wrong one. I can get very sassy.
From the first loving touch, everything that touches your baby should be this comforting. Pampers Swaddlers, the #1 choice of hospitals, is 2 times softer and wraps your baby in a most premium protection, so every touch is as comforting as the first. Pampers, the #1 choice of hospitals, nurses, and parents.
Graduates, step forward.
I'm surprised Wesley hasn't called me.
Glorious for extra fees.
I was on call with Wesley at 2 a.m. last night.
But there's a better way. Okay.
School
Your
starts after
education
that
one
one.
low price.
I know, because he has a
No
bedtime at
book,
9:30.
No surprises.
It
But that's
happens
the
to you
truth.
either. 'Cause you don't have to-
Tuition. Apply today for free at mytuition.com.
And you're probably going to get mad, but
With tough
You're gonna
food,
be
your
putting
denture space.
bracelet.
Fixodent Ultramax Hold gives you the strongest hold
That way
ever
you
to
go to
lock
sleep.
your dentures. So now
Put
you
you
can
back
eat
on
tough food
melatonin
without
so it can
worry.
help you sleep.
Fixodent, and forget it.
All right, Trivago.
That way you
Find
can
me a
have a good night's
hotel
sleep
where
before
I
you go
can
to school.
wake up with a view of the
Okay.
ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Trivago.
When you combine Vice beer with refreshing natural lemonade flavor, you get
Why
Wine and
did you
Kugel's
come? I
summer
wasn't
champagne.
hoping to do it.
It's the perfect balance. It's a taste of summer. Wine and
I
Kugel's.
wasn't hard to live with. You give me respect, I give you respect. I
Remember
treat
when
you
were
with,
supposed to sit too close to the
you
screen?
know, I treat you with respect. I'll talk to you like you're a human. You start yelling at me, I won't yell. I just won't talk to you.
Loud music was for the basement.
You'll have to go somewhere until you calm down and then we can talk about it.
Like crazy fun. And Spectrum's fiber powered network.
Go to sleep.
No matter what VR, 8K, 3D entertainment comes up with. Are you ready for what's next? Spectrum, think forward.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed
That should be nice
acceptance
too.
whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get
Yeah,
up to
that's fine.
$25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage
You
can
gotta
help
try
free
too,
your family
okay?
from immediate financial stress.
And no, I've never yawned and had water shoot out of my mouth.
Those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast. And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget.
You're like so
Starting at less than
confused this
32
moment. I feel like I'm
cents a
losing my
day. Plus,
voice.
your price will
No, I'm
never
not.
increase,
I'm not
and your
taking
benefit
it.
will never decrease. And with
Just-
no medical tests
You're
or
trying
health
to
questions,
fucking
you cannot be
find
turned
How
down.
am I a liar?
Call 1-800-218-2889. Now, for a free, no obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to
Man,
fit your budget.
I've
Help protect
least-
your family
I
from
haven't
immediate
had
financial
many
burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance.
I have
Whole life
a
insurance
wisp. I have a
through
wisp, and it's
TrueStage.
sad.
Call 1-800-218-2889.
Ever since they pulled my tooth back here, I've had a wisp.
She just lost all control.
Yes.
She actually killed her husband, Greg. It was an awful crime.
And mom laughed at me.
In June 2010, 59-year-old Neola Robinson told police in Pelican Bay, Texas, that her husband,
I know how to read
57-year-old
this. Trust me, I watch YouTube.
had run off with another woman. Given
Trust
Shorty's
me, if you've heard me
reputation as a
talking
ladies' man,
without
Neola's
being
story
on
was
live,
certainly
you know
flawed.
what
But
that
now,
I do, but I
Shorty's
don't
friends
talk. I
have
don't
given
call you.
investigators an astonishing new lead in the case.
About 3 weeks to a month into Shorty's disappearance, here comes this guy walking in with Shorty's clothes on and his boots and his cowboy hat. I thought it was Shorty, and I thought, well, why in the world did he not get a hold of me? And as I got closer, I realized it wasn't him. Denise and Lisa asked Ray why he wears Shorty's clothes.
Right.
We're like, where did you get that? You know that Shorty's anymore. Oh, how do you know you don't need it anymore? You know, you kind of like wigged us all out. He knows where he's at. Wasn't doubt in my mind that man knew.
His life was going to the bar. He lived in a small family member, and he did trees.
But according to Shorty's friends, there was one person in town who had grown quite fond of Ray.
Shorty
Neola
like
Robinson.
disappeared out
She started dating
here.
this guy
And
named
next
Ray,
thing you know, you
and
see
they started
Ray
dating
in
shortly
Shorty's
after
clothes.
Shorty left. And Ray was wearing Shorty's clothes. Because he was
You think would kill Shorty
Detective
because
Tovar
Ray's
sits
in
down
Shorty's
with Ray
clothes.
for a one-on-one interview. He begins by asking Ray about his relationship with Neola.
Ray said he would do
Ray told police that on July 10th, Neola came to the bar and asked him if he could do some handyman work around her home. She said that Shorty had always done this work before, abandoned her, and run off with another woman.
Ray says that the following day he did the work at Neola's place, and that once he was done,
I'm
Neola asked him if
confuzzled.
he'd like to come inside.
The handyman work led to sex, which in turn immediately led to Ray and Neola becoming an item. Ray moved into Neola's home. They were just waiting for Neola's divorce to make things official.
Could Ray have had something to do with Shorty's disappearance? And if so, was it at Neola's bidding?
So how does this guy go from meeting Neola to moving in with her 6 days later? Something Ray Ray just doesn't gel.
With no concrete evidence that Ray was involved in Shorty's disappearance, detectives have no choice but to let him go.
To let who go?
I had to let Ray go.
Detective Tobar obtains a subpoena for both Ray and Neola's phone records. As Tobar examines the call log, he uncovers a discrepancy in Ray's story.
Ray said that he met Neola on July 10th, but their first phone call was actually June 12th. That was 4 days before Shorty was reported missing.
Just as Detective Tobar is zeroing in on Ray and Neola, Shorty's bank releases his financial records.
Shorty had expressed to some people that he was thinking about leaving Neola. In fact, in the days before Shorty's boss reported him missing, he had actually opened his own checking account, a separate checking account.
Shorty had cut her off financially. He had told her, I'm not giving you another dime. You need to get off your butt and you need to start working.
And the activity on that account suggests Shorty is potentially alive and well.
Police discovered that there is activity on his bank account, that his debit card had been used.
When Detective Tobar digs a little deeper, he discovers Shorty's debit card hadn't been used anywhere except in and around Pelican Bay.
Either Shorty is still hanging around Pelican Bay and is somehow avoiding being seen by his friends and coworkers, or someone in Pelican Bay has been using Shorty's card.
Detective Tobar also takes written against Shorty's account and discovers even more irregularities.
I got a signature card. And that signature card is what he activated his account with. It would also be the signature that confirms on all the checks. The signatures did not match at all.
So at first they thought, well, maybe he's around. Maybe he's using his debit card. But then they found out it wasn't him. It was Neola that was using it.
When you look at the notes that Neola wrote on the calendars, the lettering was the same. The sweeping of the letters was the same. It was all negative that she's the one that wrote the checks.
Oh my lord, it's Chips!
On August 13th, 2008, Detective Tobar and a CSI execute a search warrant of Neola and Shorty Robinson's home. For a man who had allegedly left town to start a new life, he seemed to take much with him.
His motorcycle was still there. His truck was still there. His tools were at work. His friend Lisa says she talked to him daily. She hadn't heard from him, and she knew
Oh,
something
this is
was
so
wrong.
squeaky.
A working class man, especially in
Your
this
voice
area
is
of
squeaky.
Texas, and almost
you.
doesn't just he had worked
I
a long
love
time
you.
and very
You
hard.
love me.
That is just not
We're
consistent
a happy
with
family.
any person to
I can't
leave
spell.
all of that behind.
That's not the only disturbing discovery investigators make.
We did find blood inside the house. There was detection in the detection on the bathroom counter underneath a Lysol bottle. The crime scene investigator had to pry the bottle off to the counter so severely.
Oh my
The
god.
CSI collects the blood and sends it off to the lab for processing.
The blood was tested at UNT against samples from his son. Unfortunately, it was so degraded that there was no DNA sample available.
With no blood evidence, or for that
I'm
matter, any
offended.
evidence that indicates a crime has
You're
occurred,
brain dead.
the investigation hits a dead end.
Offended.
Essentially, all you
Oh,
have is a
like you said,
missing
I'm
man
brain
who
dead.
may or may not have left town with another woman.
Okay.
And you had an angry wife who helped herself to her husband's finances and personal belongings. That does not rise to the level of a major crime. There were no new leads that were developed. There was no evidence that suggested either the truthfulness or the falsity of Neola's story. Essentially, it became a cold case.
That can't be at all. Right?
Coming up, Shorty's friends and family begin to lose hope.
I didn't have any hopes that he was going to be found alive.
This day and age, people like Shorty don't disappear off of the face of the earth unless they're dead.
But just when things look their bleakest, an old witness comes forward with new information.
She told the gentleman, I've already got rid of one man in this town. I can get rid of another.
I think there was a whole nother side to Shorty that not everybody saw.
I agree.
She's guilty. I know she is. She did it.
Who?
Iola. She killed Shorty.
Who's Iola?
Why? She killed him for Ray. Because she wanted the donkey Ray. I bet you.
He said they killed him, Chief. They killed him. The disappearance of Crystal Rogers, Saturday at 7.
My mom was doing the dishes before she put some in the dishwasher.
I mean, she had a
dishwasher too.
That's
New
hard.
Cascade Platinum does the work for you. Pre-washing and removing stuck-on foods the
That
first
shit
time.
stinks.
That's clean.
New Cascade Platinum. Buy one, take one is back at Olive Garden. Starting at just $12.99. Enjoy one of your favorites with us. And take one home for free. Buy one, take one for a limited time. Only at Olive Garden.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and I wish I could tell you how I feel about a morning
I
like
know
this.
she had him
And that
killed.
includes a good-hearty breakfast. You need something to kind of warm my whole body up and get it going. It's a great way to kick off your day.
You got it from your parents,
Oh, interesting.
and they got it from theirs.
It's your skin. I'm telling
And
you.
it can
I
protect
know
you from
she
millions
killed
of
him.
things. So we're here to help you protect your skin. Walgreens pharmacists and beauty consultants are specially trained to know what works for the health of your beauty.
Mommy's one ass
Trusted since
more. He's probably
1991.
got a glass of.
Now, all skincare products are buy one, get one 50% off.
What?
Deep crunch.
I know it has to be her.
The grooviest
What do
cheese
you
not
think?
only
I
just
think
crunchy
she
like
did
a
it.
crate. It's a cavern of crunch. It's bold like a volcano of cheese.
Okay, then.
Waterfall, cheese, waterfall.
I'm
Cheesy
not
grooves.
happy.
Cheese up like never before.
Don't you think she did it?
I'm gonna choke on chips.
It's rich and her.
I bet she killed him.
I'm offended.
Real ice cream and berries. New real fruit berry shakes. Get them half price after 8 p.m. for a limited time.
Tired of lugging around big bags of pet food and litter? Get it delivered. Chewy.com delivers everything your pets need right to your door. They ship all your favorite brands.
I'm telling you, I know she killed him. She
Litter.
killed Shorty.
Toys
Oh Lord,
and treats.
Lord
All at
Atlantis.
amazing prices. Start saving today. Plus,
I
you
know
get fast, free shipping. With Chewy.com, you don't have to break a sweat on the bank.
On your first order and get fast free shipping. Shop online at Chewy.com. Take
Oops,
pride
I'm
in second
registered.
see and take control of Harper. So you don't have to stash unless it's here
How interesting.
or here. Shake your antacid habit with Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
You're good. At Booking.com, we can't guarantee you'll be good at that water jet thingy, but we can guarantee
That will be
best
me
prices at
failing.
hotel or any accommodation from home to yours. Booking.com. Booking. Yeah.
So let's have one more. 2. Make that 2 more, please. Sweetie, let us help with your plan.
We can do that.
Sounds like a plan.
Start a plan that flexes with yours. New York life.
There's an app that lets you order from all your favorite local restaurants. So you can order this, or even this. Order from over 80,000 restaurants nationwide, right to your door. Grubhub, restaurants you love delicious.
Now naturally defined browns that pass any texture browns. Multi-process, drug hair extras. For naturally
No.
defined processed for hours. Maybelline's new texture brown, only from Maybelline, New York.
Investigators now suspect that Neola Robinson or her new boyfriend Ray is responsible for the disappearance of Neola's husband, Shorty. Despite circumstantial evidence that suggests foul play, there's nothing concrete to tie them to any crime.
We're running out of leads to follow up on. Everything has been followed up
But
on.
they
Search
did
work
it.
has
They
been
did
done.
it,
But I
Mommy. They
didn't
did
have
it.
any concrete proof that Shorty was
What?
indeed murdered. And
I'm
that
not
she
your
was-
mommy.
Not that Detective Tobar is giving up on the case. Over the next 3 years, he
Tobar.
continues to run down even the slightest lead, all to no avail.
I still looked into everything. Someone said he actually went into a local grocery store, and I sat for 6 hours at that grocery store, doing 3 days worth of tapes, just hoping to see him come through the grocery store, and never happened.
I didn't have any hope that he was going to be found alive, just because he was the same kind of guy. Went to work, come home, went to work, went to the bar, come home. He was just the same routine.
However, in June 2013, this cold case starts to heat up when Claire Barnes of the Texas Rangers reaches out to police in Pelican Bay.
One thing that Texas Rangers do that is of great help, particularly for smaller police agencies in the state of Texas, they help out with complicated investigations, like cold case investigations.
Claire had just become a Texas Ranger 30 days before, and he just young and energetic.
Ranger Barnes called me and asked if he could get all the information I have on the case, and I said, yeah, let me get it to you as soon as possible.
What he did was check to see in this intervening period of time from when the case went cold to when he picked it up, does Shorty pop up anywhere on the grid? And when it was apparent that he had not, Claire knew right away that Shorty is deceased. It's
Meaning?
just a matter of finding out where he is.
Ranger Barnes' first move is to circle back to one of the original suspects, Ray.
Ray was always a strong suspect for a number of reasons. One, he was romantically involved with Viola around the time of Shorty's disappearance. Two, Ray stepped into Shorty's life, and literally, for that matter, into Shorty's clothes. And three, Ray's timeline of when he started interacting with Viola was false. He lied to police.
On July 12, 2013, Barnes brings Ray in for an interview and asks him point blank if he knows what happened to Shorty Roberts.
Ray maintained that he had nothing to do with Shorty's disappearance, and he generally sticks with the same story he told years ago. But Ray mentioned
Mom said there's no chips, and then there's
that
chips.
over time, he's become very afraid of Viola.
At some point in time, he actually started getting fearful of her. He said that she's not right in the head. He was concerned about his own well-being.
Once they broke up, she went crazy again, leaving him voicemails, threatening him. She told the gentleman, I've already got rid of one man in this town. I can get rid of another.
Why?
And that's when Ray told police that Viola had admitted to him that she killed Shorty herself.
The following morning, Claire Barnes reaches out to Neola Roberts.
He developed a rapport with her, explained
Isn't it
that
crazy that I'm
he
licking my
was
fingers?
following up on the investigation, wanting to hear her story once more, and she agreed to speak with him at the Texas Department of Public Safety office.
In an interrogation room, Barnes and Lieutenant Todd Snyder take an unusual approach and start their interview by
Yummy
apologizing
chips.
to Neola.
Yummy chips.
In my experience, seasoned investigators like Ranger Barnes, different techniques when dealing with stuff. One technique is to predict the levels of other
What?
person being interviewed.
In fact, Barnes and Lieutenant Snyder insist that if anyone is the real villain in this case, it's Shorty himself.
What Mountain Dew now? Rennie! Rennie, come here, handsome. Come on. Okay. Wow. Hi. Are you my handsome boy? Yes. Tongue went inside the mouth. Not what I wanted.
Someone that was on her side. She was a victim, and she felt like she had a friend.
Suspicion that there was a lot more physical violence towards you than what you ever told anybody. So something
Ow.
shoving.
Where's she?
Ranger Barnes' tactic dangled the opportunity out
Ah,
for
he's eating my
Nola to
thumb.
come up with a plausible theory
I'm gonna lose a
about
thumb.
Shorty's disappearance and about Shorty's death.
Oh,
That
nope,
did
now I
not
got my
implicate her
whole
in
finger
his
yet.
murder.
No, never mind. He's eating my middle finger now.
She gave
Dang,
him
Grandma, I
the same
can't
account
flip
of what
people
happened
off
that she
now.
had been giving to everyone for the period of 3 years.
What happened?
Oh, that reminds me. Yesterday, Dad was driving, and he moved to the side in front of us, and a guy came by on a green motorcycle. The guy drove by on a green motorcycle, flipping Dad off. And we all started laughing in the car. We're like, Dad, the guy on the green motorcycle was flipping you off.
He was dead.
It was funny. I was laughing.
You know it. I know it. Incredible.
Ranger Barnes had a box that was full of binders and papers and other records, and directly addressed Neola and told her that what was in the box was a murder case.
I don't before the bridge until the tale that this box contains. And world belongs to you.
Meowser.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying.
Meowser.
You do know the place in security. But you enough, I want to know where his body was found. You may not know what happened, but you know where his body was found.
Meowser.
That's where you found him in the house. In his chair? That's it. Look, wrong down. Go wrong down, Mom. Take a minute, gather your thoughts, and then when you're ready to tell us, tell us. Because that's correct, set the walls down.
Neola starts by telling her version of what happened the night Shorty disappeared.
She said that Shorty had returned home intoxicated from the bar.
He came back in, and he is never.
Her and Shorty had gotten into a heated argument that night, and that she had sprayed a chemical in his face.
I bet that gets him off.
Oh, he was throwing stuff around. He's throwing the recliners around.
At one point during this verbal altercation, Shorty approached her in what she termed to be some aggressive
Hi, Remy.
and that she turned and sliced at him with
Remy.
a fruit knife. She said the fruit knife cut him on his arm or his hand.
Oh, when he ran into the bedroom and closing the door.
Hi. You give me kisses? You give me kisses?
And then he got quiet.
I don't want your tongue in my mouth, buddy, okay?
She crept out of the bedroom.
He was in his chair.
According to Neola, it wasn't the knife wound on Shorty's arm that killed him. It was the bug spray she hit him with.
I think when he was a kid, I think that killed him. But I didn't mean to.
Neola Robinson's explanation for Shorty's death was completely absurd.
Where's the extra?
He said,
Where? You're on the property?
yeah.
Neola said that after she found Shorty dead, she waited until the night, and then she stuffed his body into an air mattress. And then she dragged the air mattress out into the front yard, where she buried his body.
So after her interview on July 13th, Neola leads investigators out to her house and shows them where Shorty is buried.
To the left of the house, there was a tree, and just in front of the tree, there's a small shed. Right behind that small shed, closer to the tree, was where he was buried.
All of us had driven by it 100 times. So it was creepy. It was shocking. It was unbelievable. None of us could wrap our brains around it. I mean, who does this? Who buries their husband in the front yard and send him all day long? Who does this?
Even though investigators believe Neola is lying about the manner of Shorty's death, they need concrete evidence.
The investigators exhumed the remains and sent them to the coroner's office to be examined and to determine the true cause of death.
Not surprisingly, the coroner's report makes clear Shorty's cause of death wasn't poisoning by bug spray.
There were no substantive cuts on the body, nothing to suggest a fatal stabbing, and there was no bug spray in Shorty's system, certainly not a lethal level.
What?
The coroner, the true cause of death was far from the base.
And according to medical examiner's office, it's a finding that is most frequently made when there has been focal pressure to that cartilage. In other words, hangings, ligature stranglings, or a focal manual strangling.
Coming up, investigators lay out their theory of the crime.
She waited until she could take advantage and did what she needed to do.
But is there enough evidence to convict Neola?
She murdered my friend. How is that possible? How is that right?
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell.
Nacho fries.
With Mexican spices and one nacho cheese sauce. One thing's for sure. Nacho fries are back. Now serving at Taco Bell.
If your skin had a wash tag, what would it say?
80% glowing, 15% fractal.
No matter your skin type, all skin deserves gentleness. That's why Dove is sulfate-free. The #1 body wash recommended by dermatologists.
What are you doing?
Thanks to Jody, CoverGirl has created True Blend Matte Made Foundation. It's transfer resistant, so it stays on you and nothing else. New True Blend Matte Made Foundation in 40 shades from CoverGirl.
When you combine Vice beer with refreshing natural lemonade flavor, you get Lion Coogle's Summer Shandy. It's the perfect balance. It's the taste of summer. Lion Coogle's, welcome to the Lion side.
For mild to moderate eczema, Eucrisa can be used almost everywhere, on almost every body, like the face of a 4-year-old, the arm of an artist, or the hands of a happy camper. Prescription Eucrisa is a nose-to-toes eczema ointment. It blocks overactive PD
When I fail.
in your skin. And steroid-free. Do not use if you are allergic to Eucrisa or its ingredients. Allergic reactions may occur underneath the application site. The most common side effect is application site pain.
Why are you doing that to my foot?
About Eucrisa.
Allergies and sinus
What did my foot do to you?
You won't find relief here. Go to the pharmacy counter for powerful Claritin D, while the leading allergy spray
A
relieves.
bed.
Claritin D relieves 80, including sinus congestion and pressure. Claritin D relieves
You're
more.
alive. You're not
Fact
dead.
is, there are over 9,600 roads being parked in the U.S. It's America's most popular street name, but all state agents know that's where the similarities stop. It's exciting. That's very different than living on Park Avenue in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where ice dams could cause water damage. But no matter what park you live on, one of 10,000 local Allstate agents knows yours. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Clear Blue digital pregnancy test with Smart Countdown gives unmistakably clear results written in words, over 99% accurate, absolute clarity when you need it most.
When did work become more like play? I mean, come on, that's not even his office. Okay, I want his job. Work is changing, and Spectrum is ready for it. Because change moves business forward. Spectrum has invested billions creating a secure, reliable network to power your business, today and tomorrow. Spectrum, think forward. Direct from my phone to my door. Just pay. So ask a free printer.
Yes.
Free print app for iPhone and Android at freeprints.com. That's freeprints.com.
Press 3D white smile?
Ow, that hurt.
Dinner date. So I use Press.
Press 3D White
Ow.
removes 95% of surface stains in just 3 days for a whiter smile that will win them over. Press. Healthy, beautiful smile.
Are the credit cards in your wallet actually the best way for you?
Ow, that hurts.
To find the top cards for balance transfer, credit, earning rewards, and other perks.
Me eating lion.
Info is there.
Ow. Wow.
Makes it easy to
I
find
realize you have sharp teeth.
the ones you have now. Stop missing out. Visit nerdblog.com to find the products that are made for you.
Subscribe to Oxygen's new crime podcast for TV and Murder. Available now. He was the ambitious lawyer.
Ow!
Fred was involved with dangerous people.
It was all just the opposite of what you hoped it would be.
He takes out
Something's biting me.
weeks before death.
He said, Mommy, you can't
Gentle.
deadly power into Montana.
After a 3-year investigation into the disappearance of Texas resident Shorty Robinson, his wife Neola has finally admitted to killing him. And after receiving the medical examiner's report, investigators now know
He looks like teeth.
Ranger Barnes had an excavation team come to recover the remains.
No!
The autopsy came back that basically he was choked, it was broken.
Investigators pieced together the events that led to Shorty Robinson's death.
That.
Saturday evening in May of 2010, he told me that he was going to ask her for a divorce.
I think that
Dare.
Shorty and Neola's discord had become almost unlivable. Shorty was really frustrated that Neola wasn't working. He was basically living off of the income that he was making.
And when Shorty told her he wanted a divorce, Neola began to panic.
Neola was a woman in her 60s.
Put it in your
Not
harness.
employed, had no
Got it.
nearby
Got it.
family and real friends.
Ow! You pinched my hand.
Rather than engage in a physical confrontation, Neola waited for Shorty to
Ow.
slip into a drunken sleep.
Ow.
I think that
Give me that
Shorty
back.
was home
I'm
intoxicated,
gonna watch.
and
I'm gonna watch.
he fell asleep in his recliner, and Neola came up behind him.
Ow!
She was not going to be left out on the street and wait until she could take advantage and do what she needed to do.
On July 15th, 2013, Neola Robinson is charged with
I give it a
the
kissy lip.
murder of her husband. Her trial is slated to begin on September 15th, 2014. But just before the opening gala-
All I do is the kissy lips and Remy starts licking my lips.
Neola began to, through her counsel, ask for a plea offer.
Oh, you're a
I
silly puppy
called
dog.
Shorty's son, Michael. And I explained to him the circumstances.
And you're very aggressive too.
Anything less than her admitting to murder, I don't.
What do you mean? Do you really need to comment?
She said that they will agree to 18 years with her admitting to murder. I did agree to it, but it was a fair punishment.
Ow!
Is comfortable with the 18-year sentence. Many of his friends feel like Neola got off
He's
with
murdering me.
I thought it was wrong. She murdered my friend, and you're gonna give her 18 years? How is that possible? How is that right?
No. Okay, go back. Okay. No, eat grandma's. Ow!
Lost for Neola, Shorty Robinson
Don't eat my face.
especially
Please.
at the Honky Tonk Woman's Saloon.
Shorty's urn is in the shape of a motorcycle gas tank, and even today, it is in the honky tonk part
Sneeze
of
on
the
my
street.
side of my
In the bar
face.
business, you have the water.
Hey, don't eat my watch.
Dying, but not everybody gets an urn. Shorty is that important.
You keep sneezing in my face. Oh, he still licks me even if I don't taste like Doritos. Ow, he bit my chin. Human's little
For more
game.
information on Snap, go to oxygen.com.
I don't think Remy's
A
mentally
wealthy
okay.
socialite is found dead inside her sprawling suburban home.
Is she breathing?
No. Ah!
Her inner home at night, a place where she was supposed to be safe.
Detectives discover there is no lack of motive for murder within her inner circle.
Ow!
Worth about $4.5 million. Clearly, anyone who stands to gain
Remy, you're evil.
would have that.
We're sneezing.
This whole thing was about money.
But as the investigation heats up, an unlikely suspect emerges from the shadows.
She went to Jamaica.
Grandma, I'm lonely.
Rendezvous
You could feel the hate inside you that you do something like this.
This wasn't a spur of the moment thing. This
I'm
was
lonely.
well planned, well orchestrated.
Is she bleeding?
Greed will do those things to you.
Ooh, falls from my finger. I say,
Lonely.
you're gonna die in hell.
Ugh, Remy! You butthole.
January 25th, 2014, Rockland County, New York. It's a little after 9 a.m. on a cold and snowy Saturday in this picturesque community in our northwest Manhattan.
A very nice area, very pretty, beautiful homes, everything was well kept.
But today, the suburban calm is broken by a desperate call to 911.
I need an ambulance. 911 system received a phone call from Suzanne Nadal-Scassio, who was very distressed, saying that she had just found her mother at the bottom of the stairs.
I'm on the floor. She tortured her and I put her in. I think she stabbed her out. Oh my God. I don't think she'll come. I'm afraid to go back in. Oh my God.
The way the call came in was that an elderly woman had possibly tripped over her cat at the top of the stairs and tumbled down onto a knife that she must have been carrying with her.
Fred, what's going to be every time I explain what's on her way? Is she bleeding?
I'll be all over the place.
Okay, she's knife still in her?
I put it on.
Minutes later, first responders arrive at the scene.
You're not
Saw a woman in the driveway screaming and yelling about her mother.
Suzanne tells the officers that her 80-year-old mother, Peggy Nadell, is lying just inside the foyer.
She was at the bottom of the stairs with a knife wound. Peggy was dead. There was blood around her head. A foot or two away from the body was like a steak knife.
The coroner pronounces Peggy Nadell dead on arrival. As first responders secure the scene and wait for detectives to arrive, they can't help but ask themselves, are they looking at a tragic accident or something more sinister?
They had briefly told me the story over the phone that she might have tripped over a cat and fell on a knife. Immediately on the phone even, I was not believing that. His gut was telling him something didn't sound right.
Despite being an 80-year-old widow, Peggy Nadell was still a world traveler, a sporty fashionista, and a doting grandmother. Beginning with her childhood in 1930s New York, Peggy's life had always been touched by glamour.
She was a child of privilege. My grandfather was a farmer, and my mother had a very nice life as a child growing up. Peggy was a beautiful woman. She was striking. You know, she was tall and slender. Her hair was always beautiful. You'd think she stepped out of a Vogue magazine.
As a young woman, Peggy caught the eye of successful Manhattan furniture magnate Robert Nadell.
My father was also very dapper, and I'm sure that's what caught my mother's eye. He was quite a handsome man.
Robert and Peggy married and eventually left the city in favor of an elegant home in Rockland County. For years, Peggy was a stay-at-home mom to their two children, Jim and Suzanne.
She loved her children. She worried about them. She always made sure they had everything they needed.
Peggy was always looking for her.
It was magic, but she knew what she was doing.
30 years on, Peggy's marriage to Robert is still going strong. Meanwhile, their two kids, Jim and Suzanne, were charting promising futures of their own. Daughter Suzanne was following in her mother's footsteps at Xerox.
Susie took after her mother.
And she got out of school. She started with Xerox. Susan was a very successful salesman in our industry.
I met Suzanne when I was just a teenager. I was 17 years old. We dated for like 4 years and we got engaged. We actually were engaged for 9 years. I was busy with trying to get my career going. She was busy with her career. In 1993, 13 years later, we got married.
But when it came to
That's sharp teeth.
Peggy and her daughter didn't share the same.
That's sharp teeth.
My parents always wanted grandchildren.
Mom said I have like wolf teeth.
That I didn't want to have
I
children.
bit holes in Kill's arm before.
As for Peggy's son Jim, he had established a successful career as a neuropsychologist in South Florida. Peggy and her son talked regularly, and one day in 1996, he called to let her know that he'd met someone. 32-year-old Diana Martin.
My brother met her. They were both employed in a hospital.
The chemistry was instant. Diana couldn't have come from more different backgrounds. In contrast to the office urban streets of Upper Brockton County, Diana hailed from sunny Jamaica.
From Jamaica, she was married once before with 2 other children from her prior marriage. And then she met
I seen you last night when you were sleeping by my feet.
To Jim, Diana's high-end taste and air of refinement reminded him of his mother.
She liked designer
Oh.
clothes, nice things. Diana wanted nice things.
Hey, you're the one to put your tail in my face.
I came up to New York one time. She was a tall, attractive-looking girl. She was slender, without her happy. We should be happy also.
In her son's glamorous new girlfriend, Peggy immediately found a kindred spirit. After Jim and Diana tied the knot in the fall of 1997,
Oh Lord, you want too much love that one.
even closer. She would call my mother every morning. Diana loved her and really cared for her. Their bond strengthened over time, especially after Diana gave birth to 2 children in the early 2000s.
Peggy was ecstatic. She could not wait to be a grandmother. She was very happy to have grandchildren.
I don't have cat fur on my hands.
Couldn't wait to get on the next plane with my father to go to Florida and visit.
Relished being a grandmother, Diana threw herself into motherhood.
I feel bad for Jules.
For children, Diana,
Losing her fur on her tail and stuff, remember?
her 2 kids, they adored her.
We need to get her into her bed.
She was doing a good job. Very good kids. Jimmy gave her a good life. She had 2 beautiful children and a nice home.
She's like, love me. Hi, what? Hi.
But in 2003, the entire Nadell
Poor
family
Jules.
was rocked when their patriarch, Peggy's husband Lauren, passed away suddenly.
It was very unexpected, and they had a funeral and kept it very quiet. And
You're gonna snuggle with my sweater, okay?
She had time to
Come on, you're stepping all over my laptop.
No.
into her grandchildren.
There wasn't anything she couldn't do for those children.
No.
Grandma was happy to give it to them.
Peggy was very close with both her grandchildren. They visited for
You need
summer
cat fur on your
and
face.
Christmas vacation. They loved staying with her.
Even when she wasn't spending time with Diana and the kids, Peggy, now 80, could be found speeding around the Big Apple with the joie de vivre of a woman half her age. She would go to the city, she would travel, she would shop,
Do a lot of things that occupied her time. She wasn't going to sit at home.
What the hell did you knock down now?
I don't know.
Peggy
Oh,
was
it's fine.
already planning her next adventure, a trip to
My
Italy
clock.
with Diana and her granddaughter. Sadly, that trip would never happen.
You got fur on your belly.
Lawrence and Stephen
Oh, I do. I have kitty fur all over my belly.
investigating Peggy's death.
All right, you are
From the moment my eyes on the body, it's clear something's not adding up.
There was no way that she tripped down over a cat and fell down the stairs.
Especially given the fact that knife wounds on Peggy's body penetrate her torso not once, but 3 times.
She couldn't stab herself 3 times.
That wasn't just a kill. That was a slaughter.
Coming up, as the investigation gains momentum, a slew of possible suspects emerges.
Had to be somebody that she knew.
you have all those people coming into your house and everybody knows she's an older woman, home alone.
But one suspect stands out above the rest.
She went on and on, stating, "This isn't how I wanted to get my money."
It was almost like she was setting up her own alibi for having her prints DNA on the knife itself.
It was just like she put away and got hard.
I know my daughter, she would not have just up and left. We're dealing with very dangerous people.
Something's going on in this town.
When you carry out large 3-topping pizzas from Domino's for $7.99 each, you don't want bad roads ruining your good pizza. So we're doing something about that. If your drive home is rough on pizza, submit it to catingforpizza.com and we might fix it.
So-so pizza? Not in this house. Because that's no so-so family. That's your family. Which is why you didn't grab just any cheese. You picked up
I'm hiding part of my face.
Excellence Hair Color by L'Oreal with Pro Keratin Complex. Rich, radiant color, and it pierces through my hair. No color protects better, covers grays better. So much care in one little box. Excellence Cream from L'Oreal Paris.
What is it about dogs that brings us so much joy?
Because we're gonna go soon.
Or maybe it's because dogs are the most adorable creatures on the planet. Everybody's for angry and happy at the same time.
This Wednesday.
Or not before you go. Whatever it is, dogs mean the world to us. Dogs made us a family. And it's something honest and real.
Because we're gonna go soon.
Dog Days, Wednesday, rated PG. Cheesy grooves, deep flavor, deep crunch. It has grooves like deep valleys of flavor. The grooviest cheese mountain ranges. It's crunchy like a crate. It's a cavern of crunch. Old like a volcano.
Yeah.
Cheese or a bold cheese waterfall. Cheesy grooves, cheese like never before.
I never thought I'd say this, but I found mother leak underwear that's actually pretty. Always discreet boutique. Hidden inside is a super absorbent core that quickly turns liquid to gel. So I feel protected and pretty. Always discreet boutique.
Everybody loves the FlowFlex Max Trainer. Just listen to what these real people are saying.
The Max Trainer is unlike any other piece of equipment I've ever tried. It's a great full body workout.
You're really torching those calories. Press the button, 14 minutes, and you're done. It used to take me a whole hour to get the workout I'm getting in 14 minutes on Max Trainer. I lost 15 pounds in 10 weeks. It's unbelievable.
I lost 31 pounds and I feel great. Max Trainer console lets you know exactly where you need to be. And so
Max interval training was the big difference. It's short bursts, and then you recover, and then you start it again. I lost 8 pounds in 10 weeks. Nice and
I'm
flat,
not.
great.
You can pull, you can push, you can help it if you want.
Thank
I lost
you.
30 pounds in 10
Huh?
weeks.
I said thank you.
But I'm in the best shape
Just
of
said
my
you
life.
are.
Go to ordermaxtrainer.com.
I know I'm weird.
Special financing and how you can save $350, including free shipping. It's all at ordermaxtrainer.com.
I'm not.
All right, Chicago. Find me a hotel.
I am weird.
Wake up with a view of the ocean.
I'm the weirdest person in this house.
I can't do that.
It's the Power Buy sale at Mattress Firm. We've secured incredible savings on our top-selling beds, and we're passing those savings.
Actually, I'm the craziest person in the house.
Hybrid queen mattress at 50% off. Hurry in. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
His dad calls me the strongest kid in the house.
Get this news by.
Oh God, everything's spinning. Hey, Memories. You act like you haven't seen me in days. Hi, Memories. You act like you haven't seen me in days, Mr. Fist.
80-year-old Peggy Nadell was living out her golden years in style.
Ready?
She had a beautiful and successful family, including 2 grandkids.
How can we only have one popsicle left? It's stuck in the bag. Okay. Get out the bag! Hey, Dad, can I have the chocolate in the freezer?
Bring it here.
This is the last one. Taklita. Oh, I didn't know that. That's his old one. I got Taklita. What do I do with it? Dad, what do I do with it? I failed at life. I got me some chocolate. So are you when you want it.
I know. Either way, the scene suggests Adele died a violent death. But he's innocent.
The house was pristine. Everything was very organized. It's very easy to see things that were out of place. All the drawers had been removed from the dressers. And some of the baskets from the shelves.
Investigators started questioning if Peggy drifted off while having a snack in bed, only to wake up to discover a burglar in her home. Then attacked and killed her.
You can see where she had been sleeping. One of the clothes and the others were pulled over in such a manner that you could tell she was by herself. And she had gotten up. The DVD player was still playing.
My first thought.
No, not again! Not again! Not again!
It was actually a key in the doorway from the inside. So right away, she got up to answer the door, opened the door. So it had to be somebody that she knew.
We took a look at the kitchen table, and it was clear to us that, based upon how the chairs were turned facing each other, that the person who
Dad gave me chocolate.
had been sitting in that chair.
Dad gave me chocolate.
Who would an 80-year-old woman like Peggy possibility is Peggy's daughter Suzanne?
And then I took out.
She was crying. I mean, she was, hysterical. I mean, I tried everything to try and console her.
I had told her, I said, listen, this was no accident. Your mother was murdered. Suzanne's first statement to me is my mother's worth high seven figures.
Don't ask us going to the popsicle.
She said it several times.
He actually went in.
This is how I wanted to get my money.
She made a big deal, which raised the red flag.
They separated.
Hi,
Watching the TV shows, you know, this is happening. And they just kept.
Oh, God, I'm on you, dog.
Where were you? What were you doing? My relationship with my mother-in-law. Is there somebody else that could have possibly have done this?
They questioned my husband and I for probably a good 7-8 hours.
According to both Robert and Suzanne, they'd been at home earlier that evening. And while they hadn't spoken with Peggy in hours, Suzanne had seen her alive and well multiple times that week.
I was there at least 4 or 5 days a week. I would let myself in with my own key. I knew how to work the alarm.
There wasn't a day that they didn't go by that they didn't talk, at a minimum, at least once or twice. And then I spoke to Peggy just about every day myself.
Suzanne says that she last saw her mother on Thursday, January 23rd. However, on the morning of Saturday the 25th, she tried to speak to her mother on the phone, but failed.
I started calling about 7:30, 7:45. She didn't answer the phone. I said,
Get out!
something's not right that my mother is not answering the phone. So I drove down, I opened the door, and I didn't recall a time, but the alarm was off. And
I pulled the knife out thinking, oh my God, I need to do CPR.
So, for me, I'm not a medical professional, but I know enough about certain things, stab wounds, that once you remove the knife from a wound, it makes the wound much worse.
When Suzanne called 911, one of the first things she said was that my fingerprints will be on it.
Almost like she was setting up her own alibi for having her fingerprints or DNA on the knife itself.
Whenever someone of considerable wealth is murdered, especially under these circumstances where it's pretty clear early on that they knew their assailant, one of the first things we look at is who has a motive for this person to be gone. Clearly, anyone who stands to gain financially would have that motive. In this case, that motive belonged both to Suzanne and also to Jim.
However, Suzanne is adamant that her mother employed a number of workers who had access to the house. Any one of them, Suzanne insists, could have targeted her mother.
I knew she had a cleaning girl. I knew that she had a contractor working there. I didn't know who his employees were, but they would come and go. She had quite a large diamond that she would wear. She had beautiful jewelry. She drove an expensive car. She was dressed nicely.
Suzanne, the robbery, there would be a few certain items she suspected would be missing. She mentioned that a laptop, a giant diamond fake ring, cubic zirconia ring, and a purse. I said, Earl, we need to check for these three particular items. Suzanne believes they might be missing. They were pretty much the only three things missing from the house.
So are the missing items proof that Suzanne's hunch is correct? Or does it put her under an even darker cloud of suspicion?
She told me that her mother was a high worth individual. She told me this isn't how she wanted to get her money. So certainly she started to creep up on the radar very quickly.
Why would just take her laptop and her jewelry? It was too precise. It's too neat.
Coming up, usual audio recording adds another layer of mystery to Peggy's final hours.
This is Peggy Nadell. The code word is Max.
And an unlikely discovery places someone closest to Peggy squarely in police crosshairs.
It's from my cell phone that's untraceable. With seconds of knowing that it was a track phone, I knew that this was bad.
Add the Activia 2-week probiotic challenge to
What?
your healthy routine and see how Activia yogurt, with its billions of live and active probiotics, may help support your digestive health so you can take on your day. Start the Activia probiotic challenge today. It works or it's free. Clear Blue digital pregnancy test with smart countdown gives honesty and clear results for you.
So I eat good food. I'm healthy.
If your skin washed out,
80% glowing, 50% cracked up.
no matter your skin type, all skin deserves gentleness. That's why Dove is sulfate free. The #1 body wash recommended by dermatologists.
Dad told me, when I woke up this morning, that start wearing these.
That sunrise.
No, they're dirty.
I honestly feel that way about Jimmy Dean sausage. Get yourself a large chunk of that Good Morning Faith. Oh, it smells good.
Why turn a meal into a snack when you can turn a snack into a meal? A 3-cheese blend equal to double the marinated steak and a medium drink. Taco Bell's new $5 steak nachos box. It's kind of a big meal.
When Lipton iced tea meets delicious fruit juice, you get something truly refreshing. New Lipton iced tea with a splash of juice. Lipton, make life juicier.
I got 2 out and
Every insurance company hopes you drive safely. But Allstate actually helps you drive safely with DriveWise.
No.
And brake too hard.
Did it.
With feedback, help you drive safely, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Unfortunately, can't do anything about that. Now that you know the truth,
How do I whip my glasses?
are you in good hands?
What's the name? Conair's Curl Secret
I know.
2.0. With a large curl
There's so many
chamber for
folds.
loose and easy curls that last
I did
all
it.
day. And a smaller one for gorgeous curly curls that last all night. Curl Secret 2.0.
Yay! I'm silly.
When did work become more like play? I mean, come on, that's not even an office. Okay, I want his job. Work is changing, and Spectrum is ready for it. Because change moves business
On
forward.
TV?
Spectrum has invested billions creating a secure, reliable network to power your business today and tomorrow. Spectrum, think forward. Just 7 days with Murad's Rapid Lightning Regimen that includes the #1 brightening specialist product in the U.S. And now you can get the Rapid Lightning Regimen for just $39.95 and get $60 in free gifts. Only at muradoffer.com.
Okay,
Every
what?
time I log onto the Poshmark app, I find something I love. It gives me access to designers and deals that I wouldn't find anywhere else. It's changed the way that I shop. Get $5 off your first
Evil.
order. Download the free Poshmark app now and use offer code LOVEPOSH. Do you have tons of photos just stuck on your phone? I did, until I found out I could print them for free. Now I pre-print my fridge. I pre-print
Get out of the way, basket.
pre-print amazing memories. All of them.
My basket's being annoying, Grandma.
Here for free. Direct from my phone to my door. Subscriptions, no commitments. You just pay shipping. So I'm a free printer, and you can be too. Get the Free Prints app for iPhone and Android at freeprints.com. That's freeprints.com.
Shot him one time in the back of the head. Everything was
I'm just gonna lay upside down. What? I'm laying upside down. Leave me alone. I have to clean my glasses, and now I'm laying upside down. Yay, I'm a loser. No!
It's been just hours since 80-year-old Peggy Nadell
No.
was found beaten and stabbed to death
No.
in her New York home. And investigators are already circling around a potential suspect, Peggy's own.
No!
She's at the police station. I found out it was more like they were questioning her as if she were guilty. She was
No.
#1 suspect.
Suzanne insists that her mother's killer likely came from the numerous hired help that floated in and out of the house.
No, you are wanted.
Master bathroom renovated, and it just had finished, like, within the
You
month.
are wanted.
So there was a lot of contractors in and out of the house.
We were able to exclude many of those through everything from phone records, interviews, videotapes. So although the list was large at first, it was being pared down very quickly.
Which leaves Suzanne as the crime's only viable suspect.
There was police cars outside of Suzanne's house 24 hours a day. They came to my office. They pulled me out. They put me in a room. And they asked me questions for hours about Suzanne. And about why she would have done it. And how she could have done it. And why they thought she did it.
According to her initial statement, Suzanne told detectives that she and her brother Jim stood to inherit nearly $4 million upon their mother's death.
That's always a possibility that the family members were working together in order to kill their mother in order to receive some sort of inheritance.
Investigators decide to reach out to the other person. who
Why do you
stood
want
gain
to talk to me
financially
that
from
badly?
Nadell's death. Speaking by phone, Jim tells detectives he was in Florida at work the night his mother was killed.
We checked a lot of records. We especially checked a lot of phone records and neighborhood videotapes, things like that. We did learn that Jim was in Florida.
As for Jim's wife, Diana, she also appears to have her own rock-solid alibi.
Diana had flown up to D.C. to go away.
Upon examining phone records in this case, we determined that Diana Nadell was in Washington, D.C. at the time of the murder.
There was, it seemed, a much closer relationship between Diana and Peggy than there was between Peggy and Jim. She spoke to Peggy regularly, at least several times a week. Diana was really great as far as cooperation and wanting to talk to us, and we appreciated that. So we kept those lines of communication open with Diana throughout.
With Jim and Diana largely ruled out as suspects, Detectives ask Suzanne to come in for another round of questioning.
I do too want to talk to you. And within 10 seconds of that, she received I'm just getting annoyed. Prior to this, we had gotten because of what you keep saying. It was for Suzanne's personal cell phone and work phone. And as it turns out, one of our town justices was giving her the heads up on that.
When I started to sense that it was turning and that finger was now being pointed at me, I'm like, something's going on here. And I need to protect myself.
She got an attorney and
keep saying
to us. It was just a complete reversal of cooperation from that moment on.
My attorney informed them that if they had any questions for me or wanted to contact me, all contact would have to go through him.
You keep saying your girlfriend instead of who your girlfriend is.
Who at least found your mother dead in her house, and you don't want to cooperate with the police, that raises flags to any investigator.
We found Suzanne at a grocery store near her home, which was about 10 miles away from the murder scene, and that she frequented that grocery store quite often. However, on the day before the murder, she went to a grocery store.
Because I want you to say your girlfriend is.
Then we further learned she purchased rubber gloves, cleaning items, and things like that.
A detail that becomes even more significant when CSIs complete their forensic analysis at the crime scene.
We had a bloody crime scene with no evidence whatsoever. No hair, no blood, no saliva, no DNA, no fingerprints.
Yes.
So whoever did this planned it pretty well.
With Suzanne lawyered up and no hard evidence physically placing her at the scene, investigators must chart another course of action.
What else do we have? Step back. We took a step back. We looked. Phone records of the home phone.
We saw that Peggy Needell had 2 phone calls on her home phone, right around the estimated time of the murder. One of those calls was from the alarm company. Just before that, though, there was a call from a track phone.
Those 2 stuck out to me at 1:15, 1:30 in the morning to an 80-year-old woman. What's going on?
Track phones have a nickname. They're called burner phones. They call them burner phones. There's a number of reasons. You can usually not trace who used the phone, who activated the phone.
That afternoon, detectives contact the security company that maintained the alarm system at Peggy's residence.
I know that they record all their calls. So I wanted to get Peggy's phone calls, and we got it.
Hello, this is the monitoring center with Global Security. This is Peggy Nadell. The code word is Max. I'm sorry. That's okay, ma'am. I'm glad everything's okay. We'll disregard for you. Have a good night.
It was telling that the alarm went off, and her voice was saying, everything's fine, everything's good. It became obvious that the track phone that was used to call Peggy was
I feel dead
say,
now.
Hey, here I am. Come open the door. I'm here.
Who was the caller on that track phone?
Track phone does use an assigned branded type carrier. Track phone was able to determine where the phone was purchased.
I have been killed.
The track phone back to the point of sale, which was at the Family Dollar store. So that was in Homestead, Florida. That Homestead Dollar store happened to be 2 miles away from where Diana and Jim lived.
We were able to determine that this particular track phone was purchased on January 23rd, just a day or so before Peggy Nadell was killed.
At this point, Jim went right to the top along with Suzanne for the people possibly responsible for this homicide.
Coming up, police hone in on Peggy's children.
You don't always know that person. You think you do.
And a surprise witness alters the entire trajectory of the case.
She was here from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., and that's what I'm telling you. I understand what I'm saying?
Tanya and I are in Bowling Green, Ohio, to investigate the murder.
There are no signs of forced entry.
What?
There's no signs of robbery. It looks as though the person that went in there went directly to murder her.
She's over here.
Okay. Watson.
Wow.
Thank you all so much.
Cold Justice, new Saturdays at 6 on Oxygen.
Coffee Mate. It's no ordinary creamer. Coffee Mate
What?
is
I'm confused.
and
2 times richer with milk. It makes
What?
a simple cup of coffee perfect.
Yelled my name.
Stir things up.
Huh?
Still nervous about finding
Yelled my name.
Yeah. The popping these things really helps me relax.
Wait, what? What? I'm confuzzled. What do you mean, forget it?
Don't worry about renter's insurance. Just go to Geico.com.
What are you
Geico
talking
helps
to,
with
Dad?
renter's insurance.
No.
Good to know.
Oh, I just see
Been
his
doing it for years.
lip there.
Really good to know. I'll check them out.
Oh, Lord.
Get to know Geico and see how easy homeowners and renters insurance can be.
I was looking for
He texted me.
find love and eHarmony. We ask you questions so that we can match you for a lasting connection.
I found my person.
I really
You
thought
just
my true
said
love on
for me to
eHarmony.
say him.
eHarmony
Oh.
is the #1
Okay.
trusted dating site. Start for free today.
Of course, Stinky's hot.
We're ready for you.
L5 Protein Recharge Leave-In Conditioner. In just one use, L5 revives damaged hair. The Lexus Performance line is tested the equivalent of up to 24 laps around the world. Experience an unrivaled feel for anywhere at the Lexus
I'm weird.
Opportunity Sales Event. Experience amazing.
Okay.
Line & Kugel's Summer Shandy combines German-style Weiss beer. with the
Hey,
taste
I'm
of
not all that
lemon.
smart.
It's as refreshing as refresh gets. Line & Kugel's. Welcome to the liney side. Feel the clarity of non-drowsy clarity and relief from symptoms caused
What?
by over 200 allergens, like those from Buddy. Because are clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live clarity clear.
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis.
Are you okay?
Even when I was there, I never knew when my symptoms would keep us apart. So I talked to my doctor about Humira. I learned Humira can help get and keep UC under control when other medications haven't worked.
I cannot spell today.
People achieve control that lasts, so you can experience few or no symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, control is
No!
Mom's love that Lando Frost premium sliced meats have
What's depressing now?
Looney, join the call. Hey, Looney here.
I thought this was a no byproducts call.
Lando Frost Premium, a slice of love. I don't like the berries in these real fruit berry shakes because they're small but powerful. I like to be ice cream because it's rich and has an amazing singing voice. Got it.
Real ice cream and berries.
Me.
Blueberry shakes. Get them half price after 8 p.m. for a limited time.
It's me when I don't listen.
The murder investigation of Peggy Nadell has turned up its first big break in the case. A burner phone police believe was used to contact Peggy in the moments just before she was killed.
We do all the legal subpoena process that we have to track the phone. It came back to a Family Dollar store in South Florida.
We remained cognizant of the fact that Jim
Meow, meow, meow.
stood to inherit just as much as her daughter Suzanne did. The estate was worth about $4.5 million.
However, Jim and his wife Diana seem to have rock-solid alibis. Phone records placed Jim in Florida at the time.
So com-
Wife Diana.
In Washington, D.C.
Your table is now my footrest.
When investigators reach out to the bride's mother to verify Diana's alibi, they discover there was a wedding in D.C. that weekend. However, detectives were surprised to discover that Diana wasn't invited.
She was not on the original wedding list. She never was wanted at the wedding.
We started to wonder if maybe Diana wanted the track phone, the burner phone, as opposed to Jim or somebody else.
Detectives obtained the search
Your reaction. Gee, you think?
the burner phone was purchased.
I swear that was really squeaky, what I just did.
Coming into the store, purchasing the track, and then walking out. It was clearly not Diana. So we looked at that several hundred times, that video. Freeze framed it, still shot at it, did everything we could to figure out who the person was.
However, having
I'm
caught
squeaky.
Diana in one lie already, investigators aren't willing to let her off the hook just yet. They begin with friends of the Nadell family in hopes of learning more about Peggy and Diana's relationship.
Peggy sent her money on a monthly basis. If she didn't
Hey,
send her
Rimmers.
money, she didn't see the kids. And those grandkids meant more to her than money. She'd do anything she could to have a relationship with them.
According to some of Peggy's friends, recently Peggy felt that Diana was asking for
Doofus.
It got to the point that Diana became unreasonable, and Peggy said no. So when that happened, Diana got very angry.
I'm
She was
squeaky.
saying, I need this money or else I'm not going to let you see the kids.
Peggy was devastated. But according to those close to her,
What?
she wasn't the only one who'd had
Yo, and
enough of Diana.
Jimmy really did consider leaving her. He was going to wait till the children got out of school.
Diana's behavior wasn't that of a happily married woman either.
So confuzzled.
50th birthday, she decides, no, I'm not going to spend it with my husband and my children. I'm going to go back to my ex-husband in another country in Jamaica.
Oh.
And that's what she did.
I do talk to myself sometimes, but
Diana was ready to file for divorce, but Diana would have
no, Remy left
I
me.
would say to her, if you don't love
What's
him,
that?
divorce him. With greedy, so that
Remy was trying to eat my sweatshirt earlier.
Detective
The sweatshirt is not yummy for the dog. No. I want to walk into a wall. I didn't almost fall.
But if Peggy dies, then she gets his half. That was written in her own words.
Mom, are you the only one watching the show? Because Kayla's on her phone and Dad's looks like Dad. I can't speak. Looks like Dad's either A, reading comments or texting somebody.
We got a passport photo from a woman named Karen, and she showed up on the call detail records of Diana Nadell several times a day down in Florida.
Rimmers! Come on, buddy. Come on. Stop eating that. Come on. You don't need to eat the paper. Stop it. Remy. What? It looks so dead.
Over the next 4 weeks, investigators.
Hey, watch it, bro. I was walking to a wall.
Diana speaking frequently, not only with Karen, but also to
Remy,
another woman,
don't you dare.
Washington, D.C. resident Andrea Benson. In the calls, Diana tells Andrea
That's just random.
if police question about Diana's
I know what you're trying to do. I'm chasing the dog around the kitchen. I know what you're trying to do, and it's not working. I'm just being a. Watch it, Dad.
At one point,
Get over here. I know what you were trying to do.
got a little frustrated. She actually said to Diana,
Kick me again.
how much Karen saw beyond just the purchase of the phone.
For the phone records belonging to Andrea Benson, detectives discovered that just after 8 p.m. on the night of Peggy's murder, Andrea made a call to the track phone.
Activated that burner phone. Once the track phone was activated, we were able to watch the track phone as well as Andrea's phone hitting towers all along I-95 northbound, headed toward Peggy Nadell's home. We knew we had something. It was incredible.
Before detectives can prove this new theory, the wiretap records a conversation that indicates Diana might be heading back to Jamaica for good.
Diana had emptied out her husband's retirement account and wired that in pieces, what appeared to be to her ex-husband in Jamaica.
No.
According
I.
to Suzanne,
No.
Diana said that she needed Jim's savings for their family. She told me she took money out of my brother's retirement account and told him that she needed it to pay bills.
We started to believe that Diana
I don't feel loved anymore.
either alone or with one of her children, fleeing and going to Jamaica.
Jamaica is not any way back in the United States. So that was going to be a major problem.
Fearful that Diana Nadell is on the verge of fleeing the country, on May 20th, 2014, police in Miami bring her into custody.
She says, "You think I killed my mother-in-law? I didn't kill my mother-in-law." And we announced that she was under arrest for the murder of her mother-in-law.
You're threatening me. That's evil.
The same day, investigators
Why is
in
there a
DC
dog laying on my
arrest
leg?
Andrea Benson. Both she and Diana are extradited to New York. Once in New York, Diana refuses to cooperate. Andrea Benson, however, sings a
What's that phone?
tune.
When Andrea Benson told us that originally her mother was supposed to pick Diana up at the airport, but that she had traffic court, so she asked Andrea to go instead.
Even though they just met, Diana confided in Andrea about the very personal nature of her trip.
Diana told her the real reason why she was in D.C., that she was going to kill her mother-in-law.
Diana told Andrea in order to carry out her plan, she needed help, and proceeded to offer her $10,000 of pennies if she'd be her accomplice. For Andrea, a single mom without a steady income, the money was tempting.
She just thought that being offered $10,000.
All the things Remy's doing, that's what he does.
It only took
Laying
Diana
on you?
Nadell about
Yes.
1 hour
Because he's
to convince Andrea Benson to help her kill Peggy Nadell.
He loves me.
Diana
What?
asked Andrea if there was anyone that she knew that would use her cell phone later that evening to make it look like Diana was in Washington, D.C. And that's where Tanisha Joyner comes in.
Tanisha was the one in Washington who used Diana's phone, which established what Diana thought was her airtight alibi.
I actually don't believe
I'm
Tanisha
confused.
knew what it was for.
According to Andrea, she and Diana then began the 4-hour drive to Peggy's house in New York. When they got close, Diana called Peggy from the track phone.
She called Peggy and said, "Mom, it's me. I'm here. Let me in." And of course she would let her in. It's her daughter-in-law.
Peggy excused herself. At that point, Diana and Andrea began arguing on who was going to kill her. No, you do it. You do it.
Peggy came out of the bathroom. Andrea Benson took the strap from her pocketbook and wrapped it around Peggy's neck and began strangling.
In Andrea's words, she just wouldn't die. And then Diana begins to panic.
Diana went into the dining area and retrieved the statuette. And in Andrea's words, bashed Peggy in the head.
While Peggy still clung to life, Diana, frustrated, retrieved a knife from the kitchen.
She hesitated the first time. The last two stab wounds were the two all the way through her body, through her heart.
Sure Peggy was dead, she cleaned the scene thoroughly, and just before leaving, tried to make it look like a robbery by taking Peggy's jewelry, purse, and laptop.
They drove back down to D.C. When they got to D.C., they broke the laptop in half, threw it in a dumpster, and they took the jewelry and dumped it in the Anacostia River. And then she flew back to Florida.
According to Andrea, neither Peggy's son Jim nor her daughter Suzanne were involved in the murder plot. That night, police upgrade their charges against Diana and Andrea to first-degree murder. Tanisha Joyner is also arrested and charged with hindering prosecution. News of Andrea's confession and Diana's arrest reached Jim and Suzanne later that night. I woke up to sleep and they told me that they arrested her. And my husband and I both looked at each other and said, we knew it.
Right.
Coming up, a jailhouse plot threatens to derail the entire case.
The message was to have them killed.
And the daughter confronts her mother's killer in open court. I said, you were born in paradise and you're gonna die in hell. Buy one, take one is back at Olive Garden, starting at just $12.99. Enjoy one with us and take one home for free. Buy one, take one for a limited time, only at Olive Garden. I use this every day. I feel like I get clean. But is Beth soap as clean rinsing as Dove? My soap's still leaving plenty of things behind, but Dove is cleaner rinsing. My soap, Dove. Dove cleans beautifully. This is Secret Clinical. This is not Secret Clinical. Secret Clinical, not Secret Clinical. A single use of Secret Clinical is the same as 2 uses of the leading invisible solid. Twice the sweat protection.
Free.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one
Point.
pill. Aleve Back and Muscle, all day strong, all day long.
When you carry out large 3-topping pizzas from Domino's for $7.99 each, you don't want bad roads ruining a good pizza. So we're doing something about it. If
I
your
come up here.
drive home is rough on
Okay, lay by me. Okay.
Hating for pizza.com, we might fix it.
Changing grooves, deep flavor, deep crunch. It's grooves like deep valleys of flavor. The grooviest cheese mountain ranges. It's crunchy like a crate. It's a cavern of crunch. It's bold
I'm
like
trying to
a
look at my
volcano of
glasses.
cheese.
Ah!
Cheese waterfall. Cheese it grooves. Cheese it like never before.
Colleges are notorious for extra fees.
That was very, very slobbery. You got your slobber in my mouth, bro. Yeah.
But there's a better way.
You think that's funny,
At
but
Columbia College, your education is one low price. No fees, no book costs, no surprises. That's the truth. We call it tuition. Apply today for free.
belly slobber in my mouth.
60% of women wear the wrong size hat and can experience leaks. You don't have to with Always Market, because better coverage means better protection. Always. Real
He
cheese
stuck his tongue in my mouth and got his slobber spit in my mouth.
These may include cartwheels, purpose smiles, intense jubilation, and burgers flipping their lid because with 5 cheese Italian, your stomach's gonna say, good, that's good.
New Sargento blend. 4 unique varieties. When you've got gamers, HD movie streamers, and lots of wireless devices in your home, you need internet with faster speed and more bandwidth. Spectrum Internet has the speed you need and the reliability you expect. Enjoy Spectrum Internet.
Start on me. Or nothing at
Remy
all.
was trying to make out with
Maybe
me.
what I do doesn't matter. Maybe all that matters.
Remy tried to make out with me.
Peloton.
Don't gamble with your student loans. Refinance somewhere else and get rate guesstimates from companies who may sell your data. Refinance at Credible.com and compare actual rates from top lenders. Visit Credible.com before your next payment is due.
Do you have tons of photos just stuck on your phone? I did, until I found out I can print them for free. Now I free print my fridge. I free print the hall. Amazing memories. All of them. More than 1,000 free prints a year for free. Direct from my phone to my door. No subscriptions, no payments. You just pay shipping. So I'm a free printer, and you can be too. Get the Free Prints app for iPhone and Android at freeprints.com. That's freeprints.com.
Why did I want a Crest 3D White child? Dinner date. Meeting his parents. So I used Crest. Crest 3D White removes 95% of surface stains in just 3 days for a whiter smile that will win them over. Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Tonight, the season finale was supposed to have a happy ending, and it was war. Talk about it just getting started. You on fire! The season finale of The Real Housewives of Potomac, tonight at 8, only on Bravo. And watch the whole season anytime on demand.
It was excuses now.
I hurt him so badly. He was willing to kill.
Dying to belong. Sunday, August 19th at 7 on Opticon.
Well then, interesting. Very interesting.
After the
Yay.
confession of 24-year-old Andrea Benson, police believe Peggy Nadell's murder was initiated by her 50-year-old daughter-in-law and the mother of her 2 grandchildren, Diana Nadell. A revelation that's appalling, both for its calculation and its greed.
When I heard that, my first reaction was relief, but on the other hand, still disbelief that they killed their mother-in-law.
Diana saw that as an opportunity for her to perhaps garner this lifestyle that she wanted. As Diana's trial approaches, the case takes another shocking turn.
Diana contacted another inmate and offered to pay them money if they could arrange to kill certain witnesses.
Those witnesses included Diana's alleged accomplices, Tanisha Joyner, and Diana's best friend, Karen Ham Samuels.
The inmate in the jail was about to be deported to Jamaica, and Diana knew this and asked her to give a message to her brother. That message was actually the names and addresses of Tanisha Joyner and Karen Ham Samuel, and the message was to have them killed.
Karen was the one in Florida who purchased that burner phone. Those two were witnesses who weren't involved in the murder, so were most likely to turn witness. So it would have paid off greatly to have those two taken out of the picture.
At that point, we had enough to indict her. She was indicted for tampering with witnesses as well as conspiracy to commit murder.
In light of the new charges, Diana's attorneys urge her to take a plea deal.
Diana Nadell pleaded guilty to murder. She received a sentence of 23 years to life in prison. She also pleaded guilty to conspiring to kill the two witnesses.
However, at her sentencing hearing, Diana shows little emotion.
I would like to say that I'm very sorry for my actions and that I am extremely sorry for any pain I may have caused, especially to my husband.
When Peggy's daughter gets a chance to speak directly to Diana, she makes the most of the opportunity.
You were born in paradise and you are to die in hell.
While Peggy Nadell's life had a lasting effect on those who loved her, Diana's greed and betrayal has left behind 2 grandchildren. I think they will have little pieces inside of them broken for the rest of their life that will never be put back together. Diana wanted to live my mother's life. She'll meet her maker someday, and I hope it's horrible for her. My mother was a kind, wonderful person that I miss tremendously. And not a day goes by that I don't think about her. For more information on Snap, go to oxygen.com. A shy young woman transforms her body and her marriage.
I couldn't tell you how much weight she lost, but she was. There's a saying, happy life, happy wife. And Greg iterated that to the fullest extent.
But a brutal crime reveals that evil lurks just under the surface.
What he described when he opened the door, in his words, was like a horror flick. It was a very gruesome scene.
As the investigation ramps up, detectives unlock a closet full of secrets and lies.
She kept so much of it hidden away.
2 black males broke in her house.
He told her that if she tried to leave, and he would slit her throat.
The person came in and I just said, easier, to make things for you to be easier, you're going to be fine.
I don't have any doubt in my mind whatsoever that it was done with cold-hearted premeditation.
July 25th, 2009, Lawrenceville, Georgia. A quiet middle-class suburb northeast of Atlanta. At 8:09 a.m., local resident Carl Heumann receives an unexpected knock on his front door.
When he went to the door, he recognized that it was Ashley Scott, his neighbor, was at the door. She had blood all over her. She had told him that a man had broken into her house and raped her and killed her husband.
Carl Heumann calls 911. As first responders arrive at the scene, Even the most seasoned among them are taken aback by Ashley's appearance.
Honestly, I thought it was a scene out of Carrie. That was the first one.
Police enter Ashley's house, guns drawn.
At that point in time, of course, you're not knowing whether somebody's on the other side of the door.
And the house was in pretty good shape until you got to the master bedroom. As soon as you stepped to the threshold of the master bedroom, I could see the nude body of Mr. Scott laying there.
I can only describe it as one of the most horrendous crime scenes that I've seen in my 20-year law enforcement career.
For Greg and Ashley Scott, their life together began as teenagers in rural Whiteside County, Illinois. Greg, who was born in 1978 in Morrison, Illinois, always stood out above the crowd.
He was basically like a gentle giant because he was big. He was a big built kid, tall kid, but so sweet-mannered.
After graduating high school, Greg worked odd jobs in town, including a stint at a local pizza parlor.
He worked at Casey's. He did the pizzas.
And one October day in 1999, a group of teenage girls from the church next door walked in.
They'd stop there after church and hang out and flirt with him a little bit. And Ashley was the one who came over and talked with him and said, you know what, I'd go out with you.
To be so forward with a boy was completely out of character for 17-year-old Ashley Rumpf.
During Ashley's young life, she had a number of medical issues. She reached a point where she started gaining a lot of weight.
Moving up is not helping,
The bigger
Xander.
she got, the more she
Give me
retreated,
it.
had fewer friends.
Very.
How are you?
A lot of times seemed very withdrawn and scared.
Weird.
to talk.
Wait, what?
But there was something about Greg that drew Ash out of her shell that night.
Gracie.
And Greg kind of hit it off pretty well with that when they started dating.
They were both, I think, more content to just kind of hang out at home. I think their personalities just meshed and they kind of just gelled well together.
I love you.
Then, in the spring of 2000, after less than a year of dating, Ashley and Greg made an unexpected announcement.
They came to us and said, we want to get married.
I wasn't really thrilled about them getting married at that young of an age. At the time, Greg was driving his dad's pickup truck, which got about maybe 8 miles to the gallon, delivering pizzas. Not a lot to build a marriage on, but I guess they were in love and decided that they could make it at that point. She graduated that year, and they got married within a week after graduation.
Determined to build a better life for Ashley and himself, Greg enlisted in the Army.
From basics, he went to San Antonio for his training to be a vet tech in the Army.
Absolutely loved it. He liked working with animals.
I think she liked the idea of being an Army wife. She met a lot of people, a lot of the families. And it was like, I think it kind of gave her an identity.
Over the next few years, Greg's job would take the couple all around the world. They were stationed in Nebraska, Kansas, and for a while, Japan.
Looking back on Greg's life, I think being in Japan was probably some of the best years he really had. I think he was really doing well in the military and really understanding, hey, there's a good future for me here.
Success in the military would soon come to a halt when Ashley's health took a sudden turn for the worse.
She had diabetes, and that was hard for her to control. She did the insulin shots.
She had gained a considerable amount of weight since they had left. They got to the point where there was problems with her heart, and she was having a heart attack.
It was pretty scary. I just remember, I think she had to be life flighted or like helicopter flight or something into Hawaii for some sort of emergency procedure. So I know Greg was really worried for her.
Doctors were also concerned for her long-term medical well-being.
They felt that given all of her medical issues, that she would be better off back in the United States where she could receive the kind of treatment she needed. So she came back to Atlanta and stayed with us. When Ashley came back to the United States, she came down here in July of '04. Greg still had a certain amount of time left in Japan. He came back in December of 04 to be with Ashley.
The couple took their savings and purchased a home in the Atlanta suburb of Lawrenceville. But Greg struggled to find steady work as a civilian, and Ashley's medical bills began to mount.
He was incredibly depressed about it because he loved being the breadwinner. He loved being the man in the family. When he lost his job, it shook him up.
In order to make ends meet, the couple